welcome to Diplomatic Passport, your daily weekday COVID-19 show that keeps you up to date with developments the world over, in the region, and of course here in Zimbabwe. I am Owen Kaura. Now, this show is brought to you by ZTN in partnership with the Ministry of Information, Publicity and Broadcasting Services. And as always, we start by taking a look at the latest COVID-19 statistics as released by the Ministry of Health and Child Care. Now, 158 new cases of COVID-19 were recorded from 4,499 COVID-19 tests conducted yesterday. This represents a 3.5% positivity rate, taking the number of active cases to 6,472. 11 deaths were recorded, bringing the cumulative number of fatalities to 4,449. Now, the cumulative number of COVID-19 cases stands at 125,118, and of these, 114,197 are recoveries. Zimbabwe currently has 134 hospitalized cases of COVID-19, and of these, 12 are new admissions, 51 are asymptomatic, 61 are mild to moderate cases, and 12 of those are admitted have severe symptoms, whilst 10 are in the intensive care unit. And now to Zimbabwe's ongoing vaccination program. 34,274 people received their first dose yesterday, bringing the cumulative of the first dose to 2,649,805, while 19,033 people received their second dose, bringing the cumulative for the second dose to 1,673,309. Now, Diplomatic Passport today took us to Extra City Bus Company, a luxury bus company here in Harare, Zimbabwe's capital. And with me here, I have the company's managing director, that's David Masimira. Good afternoon, David, and welcome to the show. Great. I like your enthusiasm. Ready to go, right?
I am, yes.
Great. But we just want to start from a very, very simple place. What have been the challenges that you've been facing during this COVID-19 pandemic as transporters?
As transporters, naturally what has happened, because intercity travel has been banned or has been stopped to try and minimize or prevent the spread of COVID-19. As you will all be aware, that it is spread through travel, through contact with persons. So we've been asked to stop. And as a result, what that has meant is that production has come to a stop. And we've had to park buses. And the impact of that is in two aspects, social and financial. On the social front, what it implies is employees have had to take a seat back at home. And at the same time, if you were on a fixed contract basis, most employees would not be receiving anything at the moment. Or if they receive anything, it's at a reduced rate. And obviously that implies that households are receiving next to nothing in terms of incomes. And we know what the impact is for the families at home. Then on the financial aspect, as a result of the reduced cash flows or the non-existence of those cash flows, what that has meant is there's been default wherever we borrow money to purchase equipment. And at the same time, because of the reduced flows, we've had to look for other revenue streams that are not related to the transport sector. Like in my case, I've had to start farming. And currently we're running with a seedlings nursery to try and augment the incomes. Then obviously the other thing that has happened is we've had to outsource buses to Zupco under their franchise, and we've got 9 units in there, and that has helped a bit with cash flows. And I think for quite a number of operators who have put buses with Zupco, they are realizing something. It's not much, but it's something that will assist us until we are allowed to resume intercity travel.
Now that you've mentioned all those challenges, do you think the transport sector will be able to recover?
The challenge with buses is that you have to continue capitalization. And because of default at the banks and the reduced inflows, what therefore that means is that our capability to capitalize or buy new buses has been reduced. So recovery is going to be quite difficult.
And then, of course, the government earlier this week announced that, or last week announced that children will be going back to school, and you as transporters will be allowed to transport the children from one city to the next city. How ready are you?
We are very prepared. We took this opportunity when we parked the buses to carry out maintenance that would not have carried out ordinarily if the buses were running, and that has allowed us to carry out that maintenance in more detail. And we are prepared, we are raring to go.
And of course, in terms of social distancing, that means reduced number of passengers per bus. Now, is that viable or sustainable?
It's not sustainable in the long term, but in the short term, because of the risks associated with the spread of the virus, I don't quite believe there is any other option. But obviously, when it comes to occupancy, for us to run viably or meaningfully or just break even, we need to run at a rate of about 70% occupancy.
Now, also looking at the staff members in terms of vaccination, are your staff members vaccinated?
All our crews took the opportunity to get vaccinated, and if you're not vaccinated, you will not come to work, you will not report to work.
And maybe for the passengers, now coming to the passengers, what do you think? Do you think making sure that all the passengers are vaccinated before they board buses is the way to go? What's your opinion on that?
It's because at the moment, I think vaccination, we're sitting marginally below 2 million full vaccination in the country. And in those 2 million, maybe traveling passengers will be 30%, and 30% distributed across the country. It will not be viable for us. But I think we will be able to manage if we are allowed to put in the measures, the COVID-19 regulations, the masking up, the sanitization, the temperature checks, the spraying of the buses at the end of every trip, and maintaining that social distance.
Now, in the introduction there, I mentioned that many people have been complaining about the transport sector here in Zimbabwe in terms of the availability of conventional buses. We've been seeing a proliferation of illegal taxis, illegal mshika-shikas, as they are so-called. Now, as a transporter yourself, what is your message to the authorities? How can we make this work for both the passengers and the transporters, the transport owners?
I don't want to think that the customers enjoy riding in mshika-shika because of the risks associated and the discomfort levels in there. And we have witnessed over the lockdown period that mshika-shikas have been involved in accidents and fatal. I think the worst was the Shawane one where 22 passengers passed on, and the very recent one from Honde Valley where I think there was a loss of 7+ passengers. And our customers, I'm not sure, would be interested. And I think to resolve this, one, we have to ensure that units are available and we have buses are available. That's what I'm referring to. And we must also ensure that they are priced correctly. The inputs, the fuel is priced correctly so that we can pass the benefit onto the customers.
And of course, just before we call it a day, your parting shots.
My parting shot is let's stay safe, let's all vaccinate, let's observe the COVID protocols and ensure that we all stay safe.
And the wise words are from David in the transport sector there. My name is Owen Kaura. Thank you very much for joining us on this edition of Diplomatic Passport, live from here, Harare, Zimbabwe's capital. Do join us again on Monday for another edition. Stay safe.